Flame yo, hot women and hot men, and my hot diggity they them.
I'm rolling my eyes.
Welcome back to Let's Explore Triggers, the series where we psychoanalyze our favorite characters from Avatar: The Last Airbender with curiosity and compassion. If you've ever caught yourself yelling at the screen, "Why are they like this?" This is the place for you. So stick around because today we're diving deep into what really pushes their buttons, what makes them tick, what secretly breaks them down inside, what's hiding beneath the surface. And while you're here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more character deep dives and psychological breakdowns. Today's episode is going to be about the most beautiful, smartest, perfect girl in the world.
You're the most beautiful, smartest, perfect girl in the world.
The prodigy of the royal family, Princess Azula. Maybe some of you will say Azula, the fierce antagonist who has thicker skin than a 400-foot tall purple platypus bear with pink horns and silver wings.
I am a 400-foot tall purple platypus bear with pink horns and silver wings.
Nothing would get to her. Oh really? Well, let's unpack that. Azula grew up as the golden child, daughter of Fire Lord Ozai, who's the ruler of an imperial powerhouse. She was adored by her father. She's a bending prodigy, praised for her precision, and feared by generals at age 14. Sounds like a dream life, right? Wrong. Azula was not loved. She was approved of. And that difference, it will mess you up. To Ozai, love was conditional. You had to earn your worth, prove your value, meet a bar that he kept on raising. Azula believed that if she was anything less than perfect, she'd be discarded like trash, which is probably true in her case. And her intensity comes from that.
Almost isn't good enough.
She didn't grow up loved, she grew up auditioning. That belief that love must be earned became the core of who she was. And when you believe love is something you compete for, you become a warrior instead of a daughter. You fight for the love that you will never get. This explains why she taunted Long Feng with, "Real power is something you're born with." As much as this is Azula parroting her father, it is also a projection of her insecurity that she wasn't loved for who she is. Because of the abuse of her father and negligence of her mother, love is not something she was born into. And she's trying to make up for that emptiness by believing in power and control above all else. She absorbed her father's toxic ideology and made it her entire identity. She became the monster that her father wanted to create. Let's talk about her parents, specifically how they shaped her triggers. Her mother Ursa loved Zuko openly, but Azula? Not so much. In flashbacks, we see Ursa speak of her daughter with confusion, saying, "What is wrong with that child?" Those words are deeply hurtful to someone her age, when her personality hasn't finished forming yet. Now that doesn't mean that Ursa hated Azula, but it does mean that Azula felt unloved. She saw that Zuko had a space in their mother's heart, and whether consciously or not, she decided that space is already taken. And maybe Ursa was not in a good space herself and unknowingly neglected her daughter's needs. So Azula aligned herself with the only parent left, her tyrant of a father. Maybe after that, Ursa saw even more cruelty in Azula and unconsciously distanced herself. And Fire Lord Ozai's love was not as warm as his firebending. It was cold, calculated, and earned. The kind of love that came with a checklist and the carrot of approval dangling above your head. Ozai was a monster to both of his kids, just as much as he was to the whole world. However, while Zuko had the warm love of his mother and the hot tea and good advice from Uncle Iroh, Azula was alone. She had no unconditional love like Zuko did. She had fear and anger where love and trust should have been. And when fear is your only currency, you learn how to spend it well. And she spends it quite generously. Azula's obsession with control wasn't just strategy, it was survival. She built herself into a weapon, polished every piece of her identity until it gleamed like her father's approval. Her hair was perfect, her bending flawless, her command unchallenged. Why? because even one loose strand felt like a crack in the foundation, and cracks let in fear. Fear that she was unlovable, fear that without perfection she was nothing, fear that no one would ever choose her just because. That's the side of her she tries to hide. She represses her true sense of self and buries it. She hates that side of herself because it creates vulnerability and softness. Her existence relies on her perfection and precision, just like the lightning she creates when bending. But here's the twist. Azula wasn't heartless. She was heartbroken, and heartbroken people hurt other people. In the beach episode, she lets the mask slip just enough to say,
My own mother thought I was a monster.
That's not villain talk. That's the voice of a child who was never told, you're good just the way you are. What she experiences is grief in a royal outfit. So what triggered Azula to become like that at the end? Her father named her Fire Lord. He gave her the throne. On paper, she won. She wanted power, and she got more and more with every step. She's successful. But when May and Ty Lee betrayed her, when the only two people she ever let into her inner circle chose love and loyalty over fear, it broke her, because those friendships were the closest thing she ever had to a family, and they left. They didn't fear her enough to stay. Love had overcome their fear towards Azula. And in that moment, her entire belief system crumbled. Control couldn't keep people close, fear couldn't hold love, and perfection couldn't protect her from heartbreak. So she spiraled, deep and alone. Azula isn't just a villain, she's a tragic antagonist. She is what happens when a child is denied softness, when love is a competition, when vulnerability is punished. She's a girl who thought being flawless was the only way to be enough. Her deepest trigger? Losing control. Because without control, she fears she has no value. She never needed power, she needed more hugs, more Uncle Irohs, more spaces to just be without trying to prove herself. Azula is brilliant, dangerous, and deeply broken. And honestly, she deserved better as a child. Thanks for watching this episode about Azula's short psychoanalysis. Even the fiercest firebender just wants to feel safe enough to cry. Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell for more deep dives into the minds of your favorite characters from Avatar: The Last Airbender and beyond. Until next time, stay flamin'!